Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Tuesday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Another year wiser, I hope.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's been a nice day today. Yeah.
Got some tiramisu.
Yes, Charlotte brought me a
Charlotte.
piece of cake and a little thing of espresso, which was delightful this afternoon. It was really nice, and the sun was out. Beautiful day. Good stuff.
Just for you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, hon.
And here's what's making news on this Tuesday. The stage is set for the President's Oval Office address tonight on the government shutdown and the Democratic response.
The state's new governor signs executive orders to fulfill campaign pledges. Our Rose Schmidt will be here to explain.
And a murder trial gets underway in Dane County Court for a Marshall man who has already pled guilty to hiding the victim's body.
Let's take a look outside today. As we said, it was nice, bright sunshine. Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
It's a drone shot of
Sky 3 over the lake.
Very nice. And there's guys out there fishing. Probably not the wisest thing.
Dennis, is that Lake Mendota?
Bay.
Oh, Monona Bay.
Monona Bay.
5 inches of ice.
5 inches ice.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow. Our drone pilot is right over our shoulder
We'll get the
here.
specifics here. The weather words: a taste of winter. Get it?
Got it.
Windy outside. Dana Fulton is out there, and that ice may thicken up a little bit the next day or so.
We are in for a very windy evening for us. Even outside, we've had some surprise bubble wrap kind of get blown in. The trees whipping around. My hair keeps getting whipped around. It is going to be very windy for us. Today, of course, we did get some sunshine. Looking downtown right now, though, it is starting to become mostly cloudy. Our highs were in the low 40s, so still well above average, but we are cooling down, and it feels much colder than what we're actually at right now because of the wind chill factored in. Now, we do have a second cold front that's going to push through over the next several hours, driving the chance for a few flurries in towards us. Notice just north of Madison, we're starting to see a few snowflakes, but nothing for us in Madison right now. It is 36 in Madison. You go just to the north to the Dells at 32, Black River Falls at 27. You can see that line there where the cold front is bringing even colder air in, and the breeze along with this front also quite strong for us. Sustained wind speeds close to 30 miles per hour at Mineral Point, 22 in Platteville, and 29 in Dubuque, at about 14 for us in Madison right now, with gusts even higher. Over the next few hours, our temps are going to fall quite a bit. Plan on a very cold start to your Tuesday and start to your Wednesday, and the same goes for Thursday. We'll take a closer look at that full forecast in just a few minutes. Right now, I want to take a look at what's going on the roadways. This is the Beltline right at John Nolan. It seems to be rolling along okay. In fact, much of Dane County is all good right now. All of our speeds are where they should be at. If you're traveling on 39 southbound or 151 southbound, things should be all good. You get downtown right now, we're not even really seeing delays much in the downtown area, and the Beltline is all green. Towards Janesville, we've got a lot of green as well. Always good things. Towards Fort Atkinson, we see green, and same up near Baraboo right now, and throughout all of Sauk County, actually. The major arteries should be good to go. Drive times from the Beltline, or Janesville to the Beltline, about 27 minutes, 17 minutes from Middleton to Sauk City, and downtown to Sun Prairie, about 15 minutes. So about a minute slower than usual. So that's okay, though, for right now. Again, no moisture on the roads. We do have the chance to see a few flurries this evening, but the main concern right now is just how windy it is outside. It is a little cold for me. I grabbed the wrong jacket. It's not thick enough currently.
And of course, it was garbage day in my neighborhood.
Oh, no.
So it's everywhere.
Oh, I can only imagine what the road looks like right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. All right, Dana, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dana. First at 4, President Trump will make his first primetime Oval Office address tonight.
The president is expected to make his case for why he needs $5.7 billion to fund a barrier at the southern border as the federal government reaches day 18 of the partial shutdown. Nicole Killian has more from the White House.
President Trump will address the American people tonight to make his case for a $5.7 billion border wall.
He'll be laying out the facts to the American people of what is a genuine humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border.
The White House is also looking for other ways to fund the president's border priorities, including a declaration of national emergency.
If he tries to do something that is fundamentally illegal,
and not authorized by statute, he'll be challenged.
The shutdown has been going on for 18 days. Democrats are drawing the line at spending $1.3 billion for border security. This week, they plan to pass measures in the House to reopen parts of the government not affiliated with Homeland Security. The GOP-controlled Senate so far has not shown a willingness to put those measures on the floor. Federal paychecks are supposed to go out this week, and the roughly 800,000 government employees affected by the shutdown will not be getting one.
Stand up!
Members of the American Federation of Government Employees Union held rallies calling for an end to the shutdown.
We want to get our pay, and it looks like if something's not resolved by midnight tonight, we will not be paid.
Several labor unions are sponsoring a rally in Washington on Thursday, the same day President Trump travels to the southern border. In Washington, Nicole Killian for WISC News 3.
And 2 rebuttals will follow President Trump's address. The first will come from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. After that, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders will deliver an address. And you can watch the president's speech and the Democratic responses starting at 8 o'clock tonight right here on WISC-TV.
Senator Tammy Baldwin is asking the Air Force to look into allegations of sexual assault and harassment at a National Guard unit based in Madison. A member of the 115th Fighter Wing's Security Forces Squadron claims he learned of 6 incidents against female members of the squadron that happened between 2002 and 2016, and that high-ranking officers have done little to address them. A spokeswoman for the 115th Fighter Wing says the unit does not tolerate such behavior and takes allegations seriously. Wisconsin's new governor is trying to fulfill a campaign promise to guarantee access to health care.
Within the last hour, we've learned Governor Tony Evers signed executive orders on this issue, and our Rose Schmidt is here to tell us what they entail. Rose?
That's right. Well, the first one of these executive orders that Governor Evers issued today directs state agencies to make plans to protect people with pre-existing conditions. That's an issue that dominated the campaign cycle last year. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act would protect attempts to undermine the Federal Affordable Care Act marketplace. The other order that he issued today calls for the Department of Health Services to develop a plan making sure people have access to health care by expanding Medicaid. At an event in La Crosse this morning, Evers said access to health care was an issue he heard many concerns about during listening sessions he held last year.
We heard loud and clear that there's the fact that there's 2.4 million people in Wisconsin that have pre-existing conditions. And we need to have that protection, especially that protection that we find under the Federal Affordable Care Act.
While in La Crosse, Evers said he will follow through on his campaign promise to accept federal Medicaid expansion money. He also said he plans on sending a letter sometime in the near future to ask Attorney General Josh Kaul to withdraw Wisconsin from a lawsuit to end the Affordable Care Act. But withdrawing from that lawsuit would require approval from the Republican-controlled legislature, so it's unclear whether that would happen. But Governor Evers has been busy since he was inaugurated yesterday.
Day one.
Yeah, that's right.
Day one. Isn't that crazy to believe?
Thank you, Rose.
Well, the welcome signs that greet drivers entering the state have been changed to reflect the new administration. The huge wooden signs now have Governor Evers' name on them. His name replaces the open for business comment that the Scott Walker administration added after he became governor back in 2010. Well, a jury trial underway for the Marshall man accused of killing Jesse Faber last year.
Daniel Leeske has already pleaded guilty to hiding Faber's body, but says he did not kill him intentionally. That's what jurors will decide in the coming days. Eric Franke has more in the newsroom. Eric?
Susan and Mark, the 60-year-old Leeske pleaded guilty last week, as you mentioned, to hiding the 21-year-old Faber's body in a self-storage locker in Rio, some 30 miles away from the scene of this incident. The criminal complaint alleges that 1 year ago this month, it was January 15th last year, Leeske shot and killed Faber, then moved his body to that storage unit where it was found rolled inside a rug and plastic sheeting. An autopsy revealed the Sun Prairie resident Faber had been shot in the head, the torso, the arm. Leeske claims he acted in self-defense.
I believe when we are done here, you will have all the evidence you need to return a verdict of guilty on first-degree intentional homicide.
The reason was he was assaulted without provocation. He was frightened, he was terrified, and he thought his attacker might be armed.
Now, Leeski's girlfriend, Michelle Goss, also pleaded guilty in late December to helping Leeski hide the body. Both face 12.5 years in prison on that charge when they are sentenced. Now, before it was known what happened to Faber, family, friends, and first responders took part in a 2-day search in Marshall and the town of Medina. Susan, Mark?
Thank you, Eric.
The annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas gets underway today, and yesterday we gave you an overview. Today, a look at the future of TVs. Curved TV screens continue to make waves. LG showed off bendable screens, and now the technology is being scaled down for the living room and used to make a 65-inch screen shrink down to nothing.
LG has this TV that can roll up into a little box and completely disappear. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's actually a motorized television that goes up and down.
LG says the TV has been tested to 50,000 roll-ups and downs and plans on selling the model later this year.
Those curved screens are incredible.
Yeah, they really
Aren't
are.
those neat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Someday we'll see it around here.
Yeah. Still to come at 4, it's been a year of political instability in Britain.
But there's been one constant at 10 Downing Street, and no, we're not talking about UK Prime Minister Theresa May. We're talking about Larry, Downing Street's chief mouser. That's when Live at 4 continues. Well, the Green Bay Packers will formally introduce their new head coach tomorrow.
Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur was expected to arrive in Green Bay this afternoon. Sports director Jay Wilson is here now with some reaction. Hi, Jay.
Hi, good afternoon. This all makes sense. The Packers were in need of a change, a breath of fresh air, if you will. Mike McCarthy was wildly successful for over a decade, but it was just time. Yeah, it was just time to move on.
So tell us about this guy.
Well, he's 39 years old, married and has 2 kids, 2 boys. In the NFL, there's Matt LaFleur.
Young guy.
Yeah, he's called plays for 1 year in the NFL. That was this year against for Tennessee. And you're thinking, Tennessee Titans, they didn't have a great offense this year. Well, they had a lot of injuries, and there were some. That was probably their biggest concern, is that Marcus Mariota had a lot of injuries. So, but he's considered to be one of the great up-and-coming young minds. Sean McVay is the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, young guy, and he has transformed the LA Rams into kind of the model of what NFL teams want to be offensively. A lot of points, a lot of offense. And then what do the Packers have? What's their strength? The guy,
Aaron Rodgers.
The guy at the controls, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see Rodgers' reaction to this. I would not be surprised if someone said, hey, Aaron, do you mind if we hire this guy who's only 4 years older than you to tell you what to do? But, anytime there's a head coach, there's great optimism. There's a breath of fresh air in the offices. And I think combined with Brian Gutekunst, elevated to general manager last year, a new fresh look from Ted Thompson, now you can see, well, there's a trend. But you know what? You can be the greatest coach in the world if you don't have the players.
Right.
Don't matter. And they have 2 first-round draft picks, and they have a lot of draft picks. So that's probably going to be a good start.
Would he be bringing in some other coaches, assistant coaches of his own, or would they stick with who they have?
Well, you would think he would have some of that, but the biggest news on that appears to be that Mike Pettin, who was the defensive coordinator this year, appears to be staying. And that's good news for stability on a defense that still needs a lot of work. I think that's pretty clear. But, Pettin is very well regarded in the NFL defensively. But again, needs players. Clay Matthews is on the far side if he returns.
Right, he may not return.
If he returns. And guys like Randall Cobb are in that same boat too. But there's certainly reason for optimism, and it's good to have young voices and new voices.
As you say, they needed a change.
Yeah. Now, we could have this discussion 2 years from now saying, God, this guy was the worst thing since sliced bread. But everybody know what sliced bread is anymore? I don't even know. I keep throwing that and broken records. Nobody knows what they are. But we'll see. And it'll be interesting to see his comments when he's introduced.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Right.
All right. Well, 4 years difference between the head coach and the star quarterback.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, but it wouldn't happen, don't you think, unless Aaron Rodgers said.
They said he didn't have any say in it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's essentially in management there.
Jay, thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
Jay.
see what happens, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, U.S. News & World Report is out with its 2019 list of best jobs. Head NFL coach probably is not among them. The rankings are based on 7 factors, including median salary, future job prospects, stress level, and work-life balance. Software developer tops the list. It's followed by statistician, physician's assistant, and dentist. The median salary for a software developer is more than $101,000. The number of jobs in that field expected to increase by nearly a third by 2026.
Stocks rose today as optimism grows for a U.S.-China trade deal. The Dow Industrials gained 256 points to end the day at 23,787. The Nasdaq Composite Index added 73, and the S&P 500 was up 24. Last week on Lola's Lowdown, we found out about Larry, Downing Street's chief mouser.
Remember, the little cat was locked out of 10 Downing Street in London in the rain.
Well, it turns out that Larry has been the one constant at the residence of the British Prime Minister for years. CNN's Anna Stewart has the story.
It's been a year of political instability around Brexit.
We've had a meaningful vote. We had it in the referendum on 2016.
The debate rages on in Downing Street. In or out? No, not of the EU, but of number 10 itself. Larry the cat just can't make up his mind. He's been in power since 2011, joining number 10 during David Cameron's administration. Speculation that the Prime Minister and Larry didn't see eye to eye were put straight in Cameron's resignation speech.
And the rumour that somehow I don't love Larry, I do. And I have photographic evidence to prove it. Sadly, I can't take Larry with me. He belongs to the house and the staff love him very much, as do I.
Under new Prime Minister Theresa May, divisions soon became evident. A leadership challenge from a feline in the Foreign Office, Palmerston. Debating long into the nights, with neither willing to back down. A harbinger of the fight to come between their respective ministers, Theresa May and Boris Johnson, who alongside fellow party rebels recently failed to oust her. Larry is an opinionated pundit with over 200,000 followers on his unofficial Twitter page. But one wonders if some of it is fake news. He recently said he rejected an offer from the Prime Minister to be the next Brexit secretary. And his own poll revealed 92% of participants think Larry more likely to secure a good Brexit deal than the Prime Minister or the opposition leader. Whisker to whisker, he's less politically engaged. In fact, he's not very engaging at all unless you have some cat treats, giving reporters short shrift in interviews like this one, a CNN exclusive. What do you think about that? Not much. I mean, that is dreadful bribery. I'm not sure what Ofcom, the media regulator, would say. But the good thing to know is no matter what happens in the coming weeks, Larry will be with us. Strong and stable leadership, at least from this wonderful Downing Street cat. Anna Stewart, CNN, London.
She couldn't keep a straight face.
I know, Larry.
Larry, he belongs to the house.
What a cute cat, too.
It's a great story.
Great.
Well, still to come at 4, we have a story that will warm your heart as well.
A Nebraska man on the verge of death makes a remarkable recovery. We'll have that for you coming up after Dana's forecast.
Take a look at this. This baby gender reveal didn't quite go as planned. Mersel isn't very happy. After the box for her gender reveal party comes crashing down on her head. This is Mersel and her husband Timur's third child, and they're all boys, and looks like number 4 is a boy as well. Mersel was upset at the moment, but now she's able to laugh about it.
You get used to that when you have boys. Things don't go as planned.
Oh, no. Just a little boy.
Whoopsie.
Oh, boy. But it is Tuesday, January 8th. It is National Winter Skin Relief Day. That means go moisturize.
Moisturize. Lip
Because
balm.
it's dry, yes. So much chapstick.
It's also National Argyle Day, derived from the tartan of Clan Campbell of Argyll in Western Scotland. Argyll is a diamond pattern with overlapping diagonal lines. And I didn't know it was Argyle Day when I got dressed this morning.
Check the
but
socks.
lo and behold,
well done.
Argyles.
Oh, those are sharp.
Nice.
That looks nice. And it is National Bubble Bath Day today. Having bubbles in the bath is not only more fun, especially for kids to get cleaned, it actually makes the bath warmer because it acts as a layer of insulation in the tub.
Didn't know that.
Huh.
Good to know.
You should take a bubble bath for your birthday.
Yes, that would be very nice.
Relaxing.
Moisturize, put on an Argyle sweater afterward, you're all set.
All out right there. It is a little windy outside right now.
That's making it feel much colder.
It feels very bitter outside. In fact, we actually did have our wind advisory expanded into Dane County. So we're going to take a look at those wind gusts that we've seen already today and what's ahead for tomorrow right after the break. It certainly is windy outside. If you missed the memo, the National Weather Service is going to help you out here. We actually have our wind advisory expanded to cover most of southern Wisconsin until 9 o'clock this evening. It was just expanded into Dane County. So if you're heading outside, do know that it is going to be a little breezy. Little dogs, Mark was just talking. Small dogs might not do so well with the windy weather right now. And of course, if you left your trash cans out, please bring them back in if they are still there at this point, because it is just a little windy for us. We are looking at at our next front starting to cross through Wisconsin right now, bringing some light snowfall along with it. We may see some flurries, so nothing that's really going to accumulate, though, for us overnight. That band of snow, again, crossing over for the next few hours, and then conditions overnight clear up. We're looking for a really nice Wednesday for us. Looking at our high-resolution Doppler radar, you can see just a little spot there in Dane County. Most of it still up towards La Crosse, but those light flurries will continue to travel southeast. That second front, again, draped through the state right now. That big system that brought a lot of rain for us yesterday is now moving towards the New England area. This front crosses over, and then we're actually going to stay fairly quiet for much of the rest of the week and into the weekend. It's just this light flurry chance for us. In the last 24 hours, our temps have dropped quite a bit, and that was after a very warm day yesterday. A 9-degree drop for us in Madison and in Janesville. Looking throughout the state, though, everyone's seeing a cooling down trend for us. The southern portion of the state, though, not quite as much of a drop as the northern portion of the state, of course, behind that cold front. Overall temperatures up there, again, a bigger cool down for us in the last 24 hours. It's also been very windy, not just cool outside. Peak wind gusts for us throughout the state have been over 30 miles per hour in Green Bay, close to 39 miles per hour. Milwaukee, 41, 46 in La Crosse, the highest wind gusts that we've picked up so far today. A little closer to home, Watertown about 33 miles per hour, 37 in Janesville, and 36 in Madison, and 46 for us in Platteville and Dubuque. So that's why that wind advisory isn't in place. We do have very, very strong wind gusts expected through the next several hours for us. Again, that wind advisory goes all the way until 9 o'clock, and then it's going to improve a little bit for us heading into tomorrow. Overall, overnight, we're going to stay quiet, but it is going to be cold. Temperatures will drop quite a bit again. Heading into Wednesday morning, we'll be in the teens throughout the day on Wednesday. We'll get a little bit of sunshine in there, though it is going to stay cold for us as our wind direction now coming from the northwest. It's just cooler air moving in for the middle of the week. Your Wednesday and Thursday, both are going to hold some sun. It's just going to be chilly to start off the day. Those temperatures, again, in the teens, but it's going to feel like the single digits is not close to zero just because of that wind chill being factored in for us for early Wednesday and for Thursday morning. We're going to put both of them in the same boat. Our wind gust potential for tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a little lower. That's the good news for us. Looking at gusts closer to 20 miles per hour, which is still breezy, but at least it's not in the 40s like what we're looking at for the next few hours for us right now. So we're just going to look at a breezy, maybe a little windy day for us tomorrow, but not expecting that wind advisory to be picked up again tomorrow. Overnight lows will drop towards 14. It is going to be windy and cooler and become partly cloudy for us early in the morning. Sustained wind speeds anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour, and the breeze still coming from the northwest for us, so that's still cooler air that is pushing right on in. Tomorrow we're looking at a high of 22. So there it is. Our taste of winter has returned. A mostly sunny sky. It's going to be colder, and again, our sustained wind speeds at that 15 to 25 mile per hour range. Do plan on the January feeling to last for a little bit, but not for too long for us. We'll stay in the 20s for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, windy tomorrow. Temps will be in the low 20s, close to average for us on Thursday, though a little bit of a jump. Temperatures early Thursday morning, we're going to drop quite a bit. With the wind chill factored in, it is going to feel like we're in the single digits. And then by the end of the week, we start to warm up. Our January flavor calms down, and we get into the 30s. Temperatures will climb into the low 30s for us for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do have our next system coming in for us. It looks like late Friday night might bring a light snow chance. Nothing too major expected, and that light snow chance will linger into Saturday, but we're, again, just expecting light snow and flurries. Into next week, our warm trend continues for us. Expecting temps to climb and stay in the 30s and get close to 40.
Relatively mild.
Relatively mild, relatively quiet. A little taste for the next few days. Just remember what winter's like. We don't want you to get too, too optimistic that we're skipping over this part of the winter.
But no significant snow, not even in the extended forecast.
No, not picking up much for us right now. So we're at about half of what we usually see for the year, actually, for our snowfall right now. So.
Bundle up tonight.
Absolutely, yes. And for early tomorrow morning, if you have to hit the road early, definitely bundle up.
Coldest weather this season, right?
We're getting there, yes, yes. That's what it seems like now. We, again, haven't hit the single digits yet, but it's going to feel like the single digits tomorrow morning.
All right. I'll try and find the garbage cans.
Yes, good luck.
A Nebraska man on the verge of death has made a stunning recovery after being taken off life support.
Giovanna Deerpick introduces us to Scott Marr, who has been dubbed the Miracle Man.
Scott Marr is cooking eggs as part of his rehab to help his brain recover.
I have a gas stove. It's much better than this.
In December, the Nebraska man suffered what doctors thought was a major stroke that left swelling in his brain.
We thought that this wasn't a recoverable process.
His children were told to say their goodbyes, but after taking him off the ventilator, something unexpected happened.
I went in just to talk to him like we had been this whole time, and I said, "Hi, Dad," and he smiled at me. And I literally thought I was dreaming. It was the craziest moment ever.
It was such a shock, his family nicknamed him Miracle Man. It turns out Marr had a rare condition that causes the brain to swell. During the 2 days he was unconscious, Marr remembers seeing his dad, who died 2 years ago.
And he's like, you know, get the hell out of here. There's no work here. There's no work to see, which in my mind is a way of saying, we're not ready for you yet, boy.
Now he's out of the hospital, getting ready to get back to full strength. Giovanna Dierpich, CBS News, New York.
Wasn't his time.
No, Marr says he credits his faith for his recovery and hopes that his near-death experience will bring comfort to others.
Quite remarkable. Miracle Man. Well, are you in the market for a new printer for your home?
When we come back, Consumer Reports has some interesting advice. We'll find out why when Live at 4 continues. And all that open water.
I don't go, there's no ice fish in there.
On Lake Mendota, it looks a little choppy on this Tuesday afternoon as well, with a wind advisory in effect for tonight. Are you outraged over the price of printer ink? Well, if you are, you're not alone.
A recent Consumer Report survey shows the price of ink is the #1 complaint for printers owned. Leah Lynchide has the numbers.
Why are those tiny little ink cartridges so expensive? Experts at Consumer Reports say one reason.
There's a lot of science and engineering behind printing, and it all has to work together seamlessly. Consumers expect a push-button experience, and that's what they try to deliver.
Consumer Reports says to think of what you paid for your printer as more of a down payment.
The manufacturer hopes you come back to them and buy their original brand ink or toner. That's the profit motive. So now they sell the printer cheaply, but can charge more for the ink and toner.
And when it comes to that ink, most consumers aren't even getting what they paid for. CR says tests have shown with many inkjet printers, more than half of the ink you buy never winds up on the page.
Inkjets, which are a very popular type of printer, tend to use up more ink than other types of printers because they have to do a maintenance cycle.
That maintenance cycle helps keep the print heads from clogging, which can ruin your prints. CR says consumers who print the average 25 to 35 pages a month should leave their printers on. That's because turning a printer off and on can trigger more maintenance cycles. Don't worry about your electricity bill. CR says inkjets nowadays use very little power in sleep mode. Other ways to save, consider an affordable black and white laser printer, especially if you're mostly just printing text. You can also check out reservoir inkjet printers. They use ink reservoirs you fill yourself instead of cartridges, and those refills can last up to 2 years. For WISC News 3, this is Leah Lynchide.
And Consumer Reports urges consumers not to be attracted to low prices when shopping for a printer.
They say it's important to consider the price of a printer over time, including the ink. So the ink sometimes can be the same price as the actual printer.
Yeah. Just get new printer.
A lot of things you got to think about, yeah.
All right, well, we'll hear from some Madison students on our Time for Kids campaign.
We'll find out how they are just being themselves. It's our Be You campaign. Danica Lewis will join us when Live at 4 continues.
Overall, things actually look okay for us on the Beltline. This is 12 right at John Nolan. Westbound and eastbound side seem to be cruising along just fine. Not seeing any sort of major delays or any accidents either, which is always a good thing. Throughout Dane County, it is nice and green towards Sun Prairie right now. We're at 151 southbound at about 70 miles per hour. Looking towards, again, the 39 northbound area, traveling just fine at 67 miles per hour. Then 151 southbound closer to Mount Horeb. Speeds are going just fine. For the Beltline, we see a little bit of a slowdown there just before Fish Hatchery Road, reduced down to the mid-40s, but speeds are again picking back up as you head closer to 39. No major delays along the Beltline. I know sometimes we get a lot of red. Near Janesville and Fort Atkinson, speeds look okay right now. Same goes up towards Baraboo and Portage, and then traveling along towards Lone Rock. Overall, 14 westbound seems to be just fine. Drive times, if you're going from Janesville to the Beltline, will take you about 26 minutes. Middleton to Sauk City, closer to 18, and then downtown to Sun Prairie, 16 minutes for us. Overall, again, a lot of green, no accidents. It should be a smooth Tuesday evening for your commute home.
We're encouraging kids and parents out there alike to be themselves despite all of the pressure of social media messages and pressures coming from everywhere else.
And here to talk more about our BU movement is our own Danica Lewis. This is an interesting conversation.
It really is an important one to have. Here's the deal, though. We want to take over Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram feeds, whatever it is, with a very different kind of message, not one that just tells you who to be, what kind of person to be, but one that celebrates who you are right now, which is super important. And the hashtag BU hopefully will help spread that message a little bit more. You may remember last week we introduced you to Maria Carvalho, who exemplifies that to a T and shows her students at Savannah Oaks Middle in Verona just how important it is to be proud of who they are. Now, we have that story up on channel3000.com, but while we were there, we wanted to ask some of the students what they think of the concept. Here's some of what they had to say.
You should just want to be yourself, and however you are born, you should just want to stick with that.
Yeah. I feel like that comes like with time and like self-reflection and stuff.
And like a good group of friends that keep telling you it's okay to be here.
Motivate you.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to be like at school, you have to be a different person than you are at home, and just like I don't really like that.
It's all about self-confidence and like just making sure you can feel the best that you can feel and not trying to be good for anybody else.
I think like the scariest part of school is like what negative impact people can do to you, but there's also like a lot of people that can that want to like be nice to you and be your friend.
There's like a lot of peer pressure like at school and on social media to like influence you to like do this and like be that way, but like once you like find your purpose and find where you belong and stuff, it's way easier to be yourself.
Yeah, I think social media plays a big part in like being yourself, because you always want to be like the best. Well, that's kind of like me. I kind of want to be like best at school, like funniest person in school. But and on like Instagram, you look at these people and they're doing like way better. So sometimes it like brings me down. And sometimes you just gotta push that out of the way and do what you want to do.
Like with followers and likes and stuff, like sometimes people like just like think that like their self-worth is like tied up like in likes and like follows and comments and stuff, but like really it's not.
Yeah, like how you said, like with the follower thing, like people want to have more followers and likes than the other person, and then if you have more followers and likes than the other person, then that brings the other person down.
A lot of people thrive off of like having a lot of likes and followers, which bring a lot of like where they think they're higher in power than other people, which bring a lot of people down because of that.
Just make sure everything you say to someone will build them up instead of knocking them down, and try to build them up until they can get the highest that they can get, and then maybe one day someone will help you with something different, and that just shows that what goes around comes around.
So these were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
It really is when you listen to some of the insight that they have, and I know
the wisdom that they
have, and the awareness that they have of what kind of effect social media can have, and what they're just not going to let it have. I mean, that's really the encouraging part here. We want to make sure parents know, like, your kids can do this. Have the conversations with them. Make sure that they're aware that you want to be a part of the conversation too.
I was just going to say, you could replicate that exact same thing around your kitchen table with your kids and their friends.
10,000%.
Yeah.
And I think we think it's so tough to sit down and have these tough conversations with our kids, that they don't want to open up about it. But fact is, they want to be heard.
Yeah, apparently they do.
Yeah, exactly. And one way that all of us can be heard is maybe using this hashtag. There it is, Be You. You can actually print out your own version of this on channel3000.com too if you want. But what we're doing is encouraging people to share their own Be You, whether it's a video or a picture or drawing, whatever it is, post it on social media. We want to see it, and hopefully we'll be able to share some of those. We have all of that information up on channel3000.com.
It's more important now than ever.
No kidding. Yeah.
Danica, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Danica.
Thank you, guys.
Go back now. Take a nap.
All right. Yes.
We'll really
thank
start
you.
tomorrow. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Hang on to your hat.
Yes, grab onto everything. It is windy outside. We have a wind advisory that's, of course, been expanded into Dane County now. It goes all the way until 9 o'clock this evening for areas south of Madison and also to the west. We do have that wind advisory in effect for us. So keep that in mind with your plans tonight. It's going to be very, very windy outside. We have sustained wind speeds, of course, close to 20 miles per hour with gusts close to 35 and 40 miles per hour. Right now it's 36 in Madison with cooler air up to the northwest in the 20s already for Camp Douglas and towards Black River Falls. A cold front's going to cross through the area and cool us down quite a bit tonight. Over the next few hours, we'll quickly get into the 20s. Close to 24 by 10 o'clock. Our sky will clear on up for us as well. So by tomorrow afternoon, plan on highs in the low 20s.
We're not used to
that.
We're not used to that.
Winter is back. For a little bit, though, because by the end of the week, we are going to warm right back on up for us. We aren't expecting things to stay cold for too long.
It's a tough winter for winter lovers.
Yes, yes. For people who are hoping for a little bit of snow, yeah, I can't deliver that, unfortunately. Just sunshine for us tomorrow and cool air in place.
All right. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Dana.
And speaking of tomorrow, you're on Live at 4. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will be here to brighten up your winter.
She always does. And we'll meet the author of the book, When Death Becomes Life. notes from a UW transplant surgeon. That conversation is coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.
And happy birthday,
Oh,
Susan.
thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll be right back.